Last year, I worked with 5 faculty members from different departments across our engineering school. Some of these faculty were teaching graduate courses, some were teaching senior level courses, some were teaching junior courses. I think we found a way to help them convert their classes, their traditional lecture classes, to this highly engaged method in a way that all of them quickly got up to speed and none of them took the hit in student evaluations that often accompanies putting new pedagogy into place. The key thing in all of this was they all were properly trained, their rooms were properly constructed and ready, and they had a pretty good idea of what they needed to do to make it a success. The other aspect, which I can't do for you but you can do for yourself, it really helps if you have a group of you who want to try it, who can sit down every other week and talk about how it's going. There's nothing like a sense of community to really help you overcome the kinds of problems that we normally get when we change pedagogies in the classroom, namely student resistance. To say nothing of the fact that our colleagues are brilliant people and they often come up with great ideas that you want to adopt right away. So it is a win-win proposition to do this with a group of people at your institution and to sit down and talk about how it's going every other week. So I highly recommend that. Another thing to consider is when you do the annotations and you actually read what the students write. You don't have to read all of them. It's going to be automatically graded if you use Perusall.com, which is described on the website. But what's really awesome is when you read what they write, you have a window into seeing what they're thinking. And that's something we don't normally get to do when we teach a traditional lecture class. There, we just talk at them for 50 minutes. 1 or 2, it's usually the same people, show up to office hours, hardly all of them. And the vast majority of the class only gets to communicate with the faculty member by what they put on their written exams, which often isn't great. This leads many times to faculty having a rather poor opinion of the group of students that are within a standard deviation of the median. And they dismiss them as not being prepared, not having the right math background, not caring about being responsible for their education, etc. And that is tragic, because when you start to read the annotations, you see how creative, you see how passionate these students are about their learning, as long as you're not sitting there with a hammer over their head so that they have to get the right answer. They often, I've seen this countless times, where at the sophomore level, they start asking questions before ever showing up in class. This is on their own. And they drive a topic from the sophomore level all the way up to the graduate level by themselves. They may not get to the very final answer, but they ask all the right questions. And isn't that what we're trying to educate our students to do? So reading these annotations is one of the most satisfying things I've ever done. My whole attitude towards the students has changed radically. I have the deepest respect for them now, and you know what? I think they notice. So that's just one little aspect that was sort of an unintended consequence, but maybe one of the most important things that I've gained out of starting to teach this way.